are live.
Yes.
Hi, y'all.
Hey.
Welcome to the Soul Rehab Podcast. Let's go.
Yay.
Woo! I switched the intro up on them and they lost in the sauce. But guess what? I am their faithful leader and I will lead them on the path of righteousness. Woo!
The shenanigans.
Here we go. Of course. Guess what is coming up, y'all? Christmas.
Yes.
And if ain't nobody else told you, let us tell you Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
On behalf of the Soul Rehab Podcast, we wish that you have not just a Merry Christmas. We want you to remember that I got a little girl that's in here. After I told her not to get up, as soon as I start recording, she gets up and walks through. I mean, where do we do this at?
She is definitely your daughter.
So I'm like, what?
But you just said something about what we can't be responsible.
We can't.
For the
That's why you don't talk before the podcast. Now I gotta live this out because I'm most definitely not editing it out.
Oh God.
But anyway.
Oh God, that was funny.
Shenanigans. Anyway, look, we want you to have a Merry Christmas,
Yes.
but we do not want you to forget the reason for the season.
Yes.
It is Christ. We are celebrating Christ's birthday on this month, even though he was probably born, I think they say, somewhere in September, and me and him got something in common. Y'all like how I did that, right?
Jesus.
But that is actual. They do believe that Christ was really born around in the month of September. So we just celebrated on Christmas. So just remember that. Anyway, remember the reason for the season. Don't call this thing. It's not Xmas. It's not Happy Holidays. It is Merry Christmas if you're going to tell anybody. So make sure you relay that message as we get ready to talk about something that really affects people around this time of year. But before we start talking about that, I'd like to take this moment of silence for my team. Y'all applaud them. That's why the moment of silence is. But
You're winners.
woo, boy,
Yes, we are.
I need to laugh, so we're gonna laugh. But on my side, I have none other than the fervent servant, Miss Anisha Dawson.
Hello, all. I hope you all are well.
No doubt. And then on the other side of her, we got the voice of reason,
Hey.
Mrs. Francis Sutton.
Hey.
It's 2023. We're gonna work on that.
Yeah, we've been praying for deliverance. We have not received our miracle, but we know God is faithful.
Amen.
Jesus.
He is. He's a faithful God.
But our topic today is going to be something that we believe we believe a lot of people struggle with during this time of the year. We're going to talk about loneliness on today. We want to talk how it can what it looks like, how it can impact your holiday season, why a lot of people kind of struggle with it during this time of the year. And we just want to make sure we shed some light on it. We believe that anything that's left in the dark, we can never heal from. So we love light. That's why we got a lot of them in here.
Amen.
It's super bright for me. But anyway, so we're going to start this. We're going to start this podcast off with loneliness. So y'all know I'm a reader. I love to read. So I read some stuff about loneliness, and I read an article in Psychology Today. And I don't know how to say this lady's name. I just know we're going to say Suzanne White. Anyway, she did an article and she said there were 3 types of loneliness, which led me to the acronym because I love acronyms. And I believe we should see S.E.E. loneliness for what it is. Mm-hmm. Loneliness is a being, a feeling, and an existing. We can physically be alone. We can lack emotional connections, or being alone, lacking a sense of belonging. So them the 3 categories, and she gave some better names than what I just read off. But I want to make sure I reiterate what loneliness can look like. It's a being, a feeling, and an existing. We can physically be alone. Mm-hmm. We can lack emotional connection, or we can lack the sense of belonging. Them are very important things that we need to know what loneliness is. Because sometimes the reason why we can't get out of loneliness is because we don't really know what makes us feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's a social media increase the need for connection. We have, hold on, let me see how I wrote this because I don't even read right. With the rise of social, can I say this? Social media. I think that's what we got in our coffee today? E&J? We got some brandy.
Oh, gosh.
Because she tried to sip tea, but you see how I made that work for me. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
So I feel with the rise of social media, we have had an increase of being disconnected from each other due to our digital devices.
Almost definitely.
We have a lot of dependence on our digital devices. And so to me, what has happened, we have really learned we don't connect as much as humans.
That's right.
That's a big problem. And I'm going to tell you why I feel like it's a big problem. It's because if you don't connect from person to person, it's hard to have empathy. And when we lack empathy, we would do anything to anybody at any time.
Yes.
And you see that. You see the rise in violence. I think it was just the other day somebody hit this man or took this man's gun in Bojangles in Kinston, locally. Just took his gun because he had an open carry, had it on his hip. Little boy took it, ran out to Bojangles. So I mean, it just every time you turn around on the news, and one thing, the news love to highlight whatever they want to keep you in a place thinking that the world is crazy. And sometimes it's not quite as bad as we think it, but the news show it that way, so you think it's real bad. But there has been an increase of disconnection due to social media, digital devices. We feel like that. So some of the stuff, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, is like having people. You know how we used to go to grandma's house, or you go to your cousin's house, and we all play together, and we kind of was raised together. But we don't have that connection anymore. A lot of times we don't go see each other on Sunday no more because most of us are so busy doing week. Sunday we want to rest.
That's right.
And so we don't have them connections. Sunday is for church and rest. That's what it is.
Ooh, yeah.
We don't spend time with each other without having an agenda. How many times have you been in somebody's house, just sit there and you ain't even thinking about, boy, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing that. And so we don't really make a physical connection. And so when you don't have that, you will go through these seasons of loneliness and you'll feel like nobody is there with you. And so one of the things that I try to like to do when I go somewhere now, I try to disconnect from my phone. Because I want to make sure that I'm there making a real connection with people.
Like earlier.
You disconnected. It's still not signing the code. That was a real disconnection.
You should have told me you was on the way. But anyway, that's beside the time.
Set time, right?
Yeah, we did have a set time.
Okay. That's
Well, you should have sat in the car to the set time. But anyway, back to what we was talking about. We were talking about loneliness. I don't know how we got where they was at, but I'm back on that. Look, don't worry about them. We're good. But anyway, so we're gonna get back into the disconnect. See, that was a disconnect. Yeah, that was a disconnect because you used your digital device to call me.
the disconnect was because Ringo was off. Tell them the whole truth.
The whole truth.
Okay, but anyhow, we're talking about loneliness.
Loneliness.
Because I'm about to leave them alone. But the lack of human connection has caused us to feel lonelier at a higher rate, I believe, because we don't have that. I can just remember at times just going to my grandma's house and we'll stay over there all day, and I'm with my cousins and them, because really we grew up like brothers and sisters. Right. We was around each other so much, and so we don't really have that. Our kids don't have that connection. You rarely see kids and adults when we're around each other not being on our phone. So I try to practice a little bit more of being aware that I'm a little because when you disconnected, people never really learn you. You never learn other people. And so you always get this feeling like you don't belong. So in this article, she gives out 3 types of loneliness. And we can, if y'all feel like we need to bounce off something,
I do want to say
Go
something
ahead.
before you start. If you've ever been to a restaurant and you see people, everybody's on their phone instead of talking.
Yeah.
I've noticed that sometimes with my own family and children. And so a lot of times when we go out, I'm like, put your phones up.
Yeah.
We're going to have conversation.
Right.
Or if we're sitting at the dinner table, we're going to have, because it is easy.
It
we
is.
do live in that world where we're checking our phones, we're checking our emails. But during that time when we have a chance to sit down, and we should be able to sit down and communicate and talk.
Yeah. But like, what does that communication look like? Because I'm telling you, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to have conversation starters because we so disconnected unless we talking about something that happened on Facebook or on social media or on the news or something. It's like, how many times you have like genuine conversations with people? And I found that with myself, it's hard for me to start conversations sometimes, and I love to talk. So that's very rare. That's funny, ain't it?
It is.
But it ain't. But if you get me on a topic, I would talk for hours. Really.
Truly.
Talk for hours.
Amen.
But it's like, how do we start these conversations? Because I think even in the dating phase, when we're single, how do you get below the surface of who you talking to? And so I think the art of the conversation has most definitely fallen on deaf ears now due to digital devices and social media. So, Ms. Dawson, do you have anything you'd like to say before I start reading this?
No, I was just listening. You were saying, how do you have those conversations? I've been in several situations, especially at work, where just ask somebody, "How was your day?" or "How's your day going?" They started to pour out. I'm like, well, I didn't expect all that, but hey, I guess it's a way to have a conversation.
Oh yeah, well,
Just begin somewhere.
Yeah, start somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you have a gift of counsel, if you ask that question, be prepared.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
they come
I
out.
didn't know I was going to be here for 35 minutes.
All right,
but
but
okay.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
You just wanted it simple. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
okay.
Not the pouring
Yeah.
out.
Right. And I think sometimes, there are times I'm probably dealing with something and I tell somebody I'm fine. And I really ain't, but I'll tell you that because that's just,
It's easy.
that's a response I feel like I should give. Because, sometimes I don't want to hear. You don't do that?
No, what I'm saying is me, I don't want to lay my stuff on somebody else.
Yeah, that's what
I'll
I'm
be like,
saying.
yeah, I'm okay, I'm good.
Yeah. But I think, some of the reason why we struggle is, and we think people ain't there for us because we don't let them be. We had the women's conference at church the other day, and Frances, she can attest to this because she's done this before. But there was a lady there, she had a box of books, and I seen her, and I walked out there to the field. I was like, you need some help? She was like, no, I got it. I said, I come out here to help you. And so I got the books and I took them in there. And as soon as I walked in, the Lord told me to say, let me help you. Don't ask if they need help. Say, let me help you. But it's like that because we get so you get independent, you get used to doing stuff for yourself, and you don't want to seem like you're weak.
Right.
And so you won't take help from people who offer it from you, especially when you do a lot of helping. We struggle with taking help from other people.
So true.
And I get whooped from that all the time by guys like, you ask for help, I see help. You won't do nothing with
But you
it.
didn't receive it.
Yeah, and so sometimes we're lonely because we won't receive what somebody's trying to give.
That's true.
They give us. So sometimes our loneliness is our fault.
We self-sabotage.
Yeah, we do.
That's good.
And so until we learn to because I think with me, I feel like I'm always supposed to be the help. I don't never think I am. I don't think I never need. I'm not supposed to need help.
Right.
And so that's how I carry myself. And there'll be times I miss help because I always feel like that.
Yes.
Somebody do something. When somebody do something for me, I don't know how to act.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not, and it's crazy. And I know we talking about loneliness, but I think that's part of it. Like you. Like somebody do something nice for me, I don't even be expecting it. Matter of fact, I don't hardly ever ask anybody for anything.
Right.
I just ain't never been that type person. But I do think that I miss out on some stuff because I won't let people do. And most times somebody try to do something for me, I'm gonna turn around and do something right back or something better.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I had a problem with that, and I talked to my therapist about that, and she said just because somebody does something for you doesn't mean you have to repay them back.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm still practicing that. But
because you said something, I had a problem. I was
so I was just thinking of when you said that, I'm so like that. But and then I thought about too what we talked about before, because we're always the help that when we need help and when we really ask for it and then that help is not there, it hurts.
It does.
It hurts because we don't ever ask for it. And it's like, I needed you to be there.
Well, that one time I really need you.
That one time.
This is why I don't ask.
I can't deal with the hurt and disappointment.
That is, but you know, the bad thing about that is, I really think that's a trick.
It is.
You know, it's a trick us to keep us in our it's bondage.
It is.
To keep us in our bondage, because it's like, I don't never ask for help, but then when I really need it, ain't nobody there.
Yes.
That's why I don't do it. That's why I'm the strong. That's, you know.
Yes.
I was listening to a lady on a reel one day, and she was talking about. She said, "Don't call me strong. I'm done with that." She was like, "I'm done with that," because every time you tell somebody you strong, they don't never check on you. They won't never do nothing for you, because they always expect you, like, you're always strong. You handle things so well. And it's like, no, I'm not. And, you know, and I think I really learned to quit calling women that, because I hate it. I just, strong is strength. It's something you're supposed to be.
Not calling us strong.
Because I don't, you know, you shouldn't be feeling like that. It's not a badge of honor.
It's not.
Because what you telling somebody is that I don't need nothing. And that's how people, then you get mad when people treat you like that.
That's right.
But you speaking it upon yourself. So I don't know really how we got on that subject, but I think somebody really need to hear that.
And just because you carry it well doesn't mean you still don't need somebody to check on you. Yeah. You know, because somebody was like, well, you do this, you do this. That doesn't mean you don't need somebody to say, hey, are you okay?
But like so all of us are probably the strong people in our family. That's how everybody look at us. So we want to help some of the other strong people that feel like everything falls on them. Stop being strong. Just it.
You don't have to be the pillar of strength for everybody.
No, you don't. And when you in the mode that you need a dump, just dump. You know, I mean, you're gonna have to let down your guard in order to stop being considered a strong. And it don't mean you're not strong. That's what I had to find out too. Just because I get in my feelings about something, don't mean I'm not. I hate the word strong, but that I'm not solid or have a good foundation. It just means I'm in my feelings, and it's all right.
Yes,
you know, I'm gonna own that I'm in my feelings.
Yes.
Like, no, I'm not. I don't like that. You know, no, I don't want to feel like toting y'all weight today. Tote your own weight. You know, get out my face.
It's okay to say no.
Yes,
I'm not available.
Yeah,
we can talk later.
Yeah, do that. I mean, because
I think that goes to, sometimes we pick up assignments that don't belong to us.
Oh, ain't no doubt about that.
And I feel like in my life, I've picked up so many assignments. And when you pick up assignments that don't belong to you, they weigh you down.
Yeah.
And so just knowing what is your assignment and who is assigned to you is helpful.
Yeah, it is. And that was good. That made me think.
So because, that was your last comment.
Because no, that made me think.
My last comment.
Because
no,
because you so, you know, you used to helping people so much. It is so easy to pick up something that you're not supposed to be picking up, and to carry something that you wouldn't. That's why it's weighing you down, and you feel it because you were never meant to carry it. And so, one of the things that I have tried to learn is like pray more into. What am I supposed to be carrying?
Yes, clarity. Yes.
Am I the help that they need?
Yes.
Because what is it? I can't remember the post I seen, but when you try to help somebody who's not ready to receive the help that you're giving them, they're gonna wear you out. And so we have to learn the power of the seed. Okay, I see you. I spoke to it. You're not moving. I'm good.
That's it. I'm moving forward.
Yes. Now I got to step up. You come back around. Hey. Pour a little, give you some water for that seed. Hey, and that's why, you know, one thing I learned from my pastor, like when people ask for help, I offer you some advice, and you come back. Have you done the last thing I told you?
Right.
No, go do the last thing I told you, and then come back.
That's right.
You know, but what it does, it help lift the weight off you, because some of the stuff that we carry is weight that other people are supposed to be carrying.
That's so true.
we gotta quit carrying that weight, because if we carry it, they won't never get it. And then if something happened to you, then who gonna carry it? So learning.
Whoa! Push pause. Woo! Say that again.
I said, if you're not here, who gonna carry their weight?
Did we just not have this conversation yesterday and another day this past week?
Carry on.
Loneliness. Was right on time.
I felt that.
Woo! Yes, we did.
Okay.
That's important for us to remember, though.
It is.
Like, who is going to carry that weight if we're not here?
That's right.
So we keep carrying it and keep carrying it, and they walking around here with not a care in this world. That's why it's like when people do stuff that hurt you, and you expect them to be walking around here, they don't care.
They don't. They really don't.
You know, they walk around there just a happy smile. You walk around here with the weight of the world on your shoulder because you refuse to forgive them. And you better get that mess off of you.
Better let it go.
And die early from anxiety. I have a heart stroke, as my cousin Sheila would say. I don't know where she got that from.
That's always stuff. I'm a grandmother, great aunts as well.
But just remember that. I just wanted to speak to the people, especially during the holidays.
Yes.
Because you're going to be still entitled to be the strong one, but just know you don't have to be that person. So we're going to go back to these 3 types of loneliness.
Yes.
And the first one we're going over is social loneliness. This type of loneliness occurs when you don't feel a sense of belonging to a group beyond yourself. You might even feel social loneliness even when you're in a romantic relationship with a partner you treasure. So that means you can be in love and still feel alone. If you don't have a wider circle of social support, you may feel that you and your partner don't have a group with whom you belong. When you walk into a party and don't recognize anyone familiar, a feeling of social loneliness may wash over you if you don't typically feel comfortable approaching new people. If you don't feel that your presence is valued in a wider circle, you might experience social loneliness. So let's dig into that.
Okay.
So most people, when we hear loneliness, we think that we don't have nobody. That's what you feel like, you don't have nobody. But what she described, she said you can be in a romantic relationship with somebody you treasure and still feel alone. So like when y'all, I know y'all had to have experience. I know I have experienced this. But I think and we may get in that to one another description, but I think part of it is even when you with somebody and you love them, you still, that's part of you that they don't know. And a part of you that you feel like they wouldn't accept. And so you hide it, or you keep this part of yourself hidden. And then you start feeling alone because at the end of the day, we were created for a relationship.
Right.
That's what God created us for, a relationship.
Yes.
And so when you're in relationships and ones that you have that you can't be yourself completely in, you're going to always feel like there's a part of you that somebody don't accept. So I think that's what makes you feel loneliness in that area. That, like I said, one of the greatest revelations I had about who I am is knowing who I'm not. Accepting the part that I'm not good at, accepting the part that I don't think people may like, but it's still who I am. And so when I accept them, other people may accept them or they may not, but it don't matter because I know that's who I am. And so I think until we start, when we in social gatherings or we with a circle of friends, I don't think you share everything with everybody, but right. you should have some people around you that know then you entirely know everything about you. And when I mean entirely, like know your weaknesses and don't judge you off your weaknesses and know our struggle, especially being a Christian. I think that's why sometimes the church, people only go to church when they get out, when they leave, when church is over, they leave. Because they, there's a mask they wear when they go to church and they don't want to keep wearing it. So do y'all want to touch on that while we hear the feeling of being with people and still feeling alone?
I think sometimes in the relationship aspect, you said something about hiding yourself or masking yourself. Sometimes you're forced to. And then if you have a certain type of gift or you're a certain, like we talked about, we're we're those hard love. Like we love hard. So you put your all into it. And if it's not reciprocated, then you won't eat.
Yeah.
So that's when that loneliness sets in.
No, I agree. You got something to add? No, hold on. You got something to add? Do you want to add?
I don't.
Okay, cause I know better. But anyhow, we'll fast forward. Okay.
Like, no.
Go ahead. No.
I'm trying to think of how to say it. Like,
because I think
when you're not, you said something when you're not able to be yourself in a relationship, how it's almost like you're forced and you isolate yourself because you're not able to just to flourish and be who you truly are.
Right.
And it's bad when you can't flourish or be who you are in your own home, or if you're in a relationship, a romantic relationship, if you can't be who you are. And sometimes I think for romantic relationships, when people don't understand your purpose, and they really don't have, they don't understand their purpose, and they don't.
That's what it is.
They don't understand their purpose, and they don't understand your purpose. It's almost like a force thing, and you just feel like it's bad when you can't be yourself,
right?
And you know, it's like you're walking on eggshells because you almost gotta fake, or you gotta hold that part to the people that you're should be able to share. You can't share the closest intimate part. And I think if you're in a romantic relationship, you know, especially if you're isolated and you're feeling alone, that person, if it's your husband, boyfriend, whatever, is supposed to be pouring into you. And when you don't feel like you're being poured into, there's a part that's disappointed,
right? And
you feel rejection.
But it goes back to what he said before about, you know, well, you just said about not knowing them not knowing their purpose and them not understanding yours. But then there's that aspect where he said there's no empathy.
Right.
Yeah. It is. And I say this about relationships. I think, so as believers, I think we should not see relationship as the world sees them.
Right.
Not have the world views. We should have more Christian views of what it is. And I think on average, most of us think relationships are rooted in our happiness. It's not. God does not just put us together for happiness. Anything that he's created for purpose. No matter. Sorry, y'all. No matter what that purpose is. You know what I mean? So if, let's say, how I want to put this. Let's say if your purpose is we're going to be crazy. So your purpose is to be the president, right? No, hold on. I'm going to use this because this is familiar to me. So let's say my purpose is to be a business owner. And their purpose is to be traveling evangelist. I ain't saying it's not going to work, but we're going two different directions. Because I can't do a whole lot of traveling trying to start businesses. And so to me, my wife should be more business oriented, business minded, because then she fits into my purpose. And then if she's that way, that means she's going that way. So she should be able to flourish under my purpose. And even if that flourishing means higher than me, I don't care because we're one.
That's right.
So when you win, I win. That's how I see it. But I think a lot of times with in purpose, men are taught to be having to be so we have to there's a feeling with a man that he has to be the end all because he's taught that, you know. And so when sometimes some of them, when they see women, I don't have a problem with a woman, like I said, she can be driven. I don't mind that. She can't be disrespectful. Right. I mind that. Exactly. I don't do the disrespect thing. I will check you in a heartbeat about being disrespectful. But her being driven, I can care less because if she winning, I'm winning. We won. And so I think, and once we realize that we're not just, happiness is a byproduct of what we're called to be, but it is not the main goal. And I think a lot of times when we go into purpose, we start not knowing that. And so when you can't share a piece of you because you scared it might overshadow somebody else, they're not right for you. I'm just sorry.
Right. You lose yourself.
Yeah.
You lose yourself.
You can try to build them up,
Right.
but they got to have something in them to know. Like, if my wife was a gazillionaire and I was a thousandaire, it don't mean I ain't the man of the house.
That's right.
And if it does, that means I got the wrong woman and she can exit stage
Right.
I think that's what my man used to say in the cartoons
right.
back in the day. She can exit. Because we still have order. I know nobody likes this order, but I'm a Christian. And we got to follow.
That's right.
Christ is my head. And I'm the head of my wife. And my wife is above the children. That's
how it goes.
And when your house is not like that, it's out of order. So you get some things you bring on yourself by not being in order.
That's right.
So if you're a woman and you choose a man and you don't feel like he's a good head, that's your fault.
That's right.
That's right.
You got to follow in that leadership. So what you have to do is figure out, and we way over here somewhere that I had planned on going.
Since you're way over here, I have to say this because you were talking about the order. I feel like for women, it's easy to submit to people if they respect them.
Oh, no doubt.
If you don't respect them, you can't submit. So it has to be a respect level, and that man also has to make that woman feel safe.
Yeah.
So if you while you were talking about the order, I think especially with black women, we get that we're the angry black women. We don't want to submit. A lot of times we just don't respect the men.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
And we don't have a reason to. And I'm not saying, I'm not even being harsh, but
you're
not giving us like, what's the saying? Something about being somebody's peace. But how can I be your peace if you always giving me hell?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You making life miserable.
Yeah.
Like,
and
there's no balance.
That's what
Miles
Monroe said like this. Give her groceries. She makes home. I don't know. I don't remember that. But this part I got down. He said, give her frustration. She give you hell. And this was a pastor. But because she's a multiplier. Whatever you get, she's going to multiply. So if you give her frustration, she's going to give you hell. And so you have to be aware. And I think while you single, instead of complaining about being single, find out who you are. Find out what women, find out what your skill set is. What do you, and when I say what do you bring to the table, what do you have that you are naturally good at that you can do to help somebody with a purpose? And I think once you find that, then you can narrow down some of the men you talk to or trying to communicate with, because now we're going a little bit of a different direction. I think if you don't have a set of boundaries that you need to be looking in, then what you're doing is playing craps. Right. You roll the dice, hope you get the right one. Right. Because you need more than chemistry.
That ain't enough.
Chemistry is not enough. I know everybody, I do believe in compatibility. I do. But I'm telling you, you can have, sometimes the people you have chemistry with, you should be friends with.
That's right.
Because chemistry is not enough. I have been with people that I had good chemistry with, and we sucked as a couple.
That's right.
Because we were going in two different directions. And so once that chemistry worked, then we lose somebody that could have been important in our life just because we had some chemistry. That mess don't mean nothing.
That's right.
You got to get over that. And I know we talking about loneliness, but I think that's something important that you have to know. Sometimes you don't, and I know I'm ahead of myself on this one, but sometimes you don't know what you need. You know what you want.
Right.
And when you pick out what you want, you're never going to get what you need. I don't know if I can say that again, but but I think that's a big, because this is what I want. I want tall, bald-headed, six-pack, big muscles. That's what I want. So that's what your focus on.
That's nice, but I want pay these bills because I'm tired of spending my money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think, okay. And so we build these expectations based off what the world has showed us on TV instead of going in our instruction manual and say what God said what a man needs.
Yeah.
And so what a good man should have some type character trait.
Yes.
He should have some integrity. He should have good character. Even if he's having to build it, he should be willing. I should be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? If he's not honest with you in the beginning, he lie about stuff, then that's a red flag.
Right.
So you have to understand that our character and integrity is what holds us where we at. And so when you pick based off what you want, because the average person in their top five.
You picking out a loneliness. What you
Yeah.
picking out of? Mm-hmm.
Because your top five is physical stuff. It ain't
Right.
nothing about that
Character.
person. You know, and really that should be bottom.
And that's not going to sustain you, by
It's
the way.
not.
It's not.
What's going to happen when the physical stuff changes?
Yeah. And what's gonna happen when you see some? Because you're gonna see some. I don't care how good she look, how good he look. There's somebody on this earth that look better. Don't care.
You will be tempted.
Because, and if it ain't nothing but that you see them every day and you kind of you start to get used to them. You know, I mean, I think I heard somebody give Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce, and everybody, there's a lot of men in this world that would love to have her, but he got her and he cheated on her. So, at some point in time, that stuff don't sustain nothing. And so when we start picking off this is why you're alone, because you don't know what you need, because you ain't sat alone with him long enough to find out who you are.
You haven't sat alone with him nor yourself.
Yeah.
But you're still hopping from person to person to person to person.
When the last time you took yourself on a date?
Yeah, exactly.
When the last time you sat there? Most of us, I got a question on my Twilight Zone podcast that blows everybody's mind. And did I ever tell you that I got that revelation when we did the
when we did our little event at the church?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like most, we had to pick the bag of candy up and whatever you had to say something about yourself. But when I said it, I never said anything that I did. It was like the first time. And so when I started my podcast off, I asked people that, and everybody stumbles over that question because we don't know ourselves, because we always doing, and we don't never sit still with ourselves. And so I believe that until you get comfortable being with yourself, you're never going to be able to find what you need. You're going to find what you want, because the devil going to send somebody that you want. He know your taste. He know what you like. He going to send them. But until you learn to sit by yourself in an alone season with God, then you start learning. And then you're able to sit home with yourself, enjoy your own company. Most people would just date or go out because they don't like being by themselves. And if you don't like being by yourself, that means you don't like yourself. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the end of our podcast. Look, again, the conversation was good, and I don't try to overload you with a lot of information at one time, so we decided to split the podcast up. So listen, I know that we all deal with certain things about loneliness, but I think when we learn to define those things in a different way, I think we'll be able to heal or go through the process of dealing with loneliness. So tune in for next week so you can get more information. And again, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and peace out.